Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Online. I have with us two amazing ladies from I Am History. Am I correct there?
Yes.
Okay, let me turn this around and see if this works this way. So, two lovely ladies from I Am History. So, can you please introduce yourselves?
Yeah. So, hi guys, I'm Deborah.
Hi, I'm Chanel.
Okay, so talk to us about I Am History. Do you want to start with us first?
Sure. So I Am History is It's the home of the diaspora for. Oh my gosh, sorry. It's the home of the Black diaspora. We're highlighting history from heroes within Black culture we don't get taught about within school. So from that, we want to raise the awareness of modern day heroes and bring light around entertainment, culture, politics that is helping change the narrative around what it means to be Black in modern day lives.
Okay.
Right, so we have three pillars to our brand. We have history, which talks about our past heroes such as King Mansa Musa, Queen Nzinga, Yaa Asantewaa, and Tenkamenin. And they are all royals, and we thought it would be great to basically launch with a royal line, just to celebrate the greatness that we've come from. And we intend to launch with new heroes very soon, and they will be from education or engineer, science, so just different industries. And then we have the culture pillar, which is about entertainment, literacy, music, art, just anything around Black culture that's very positive and putting us in a great light. And then we have our apparel line, which is basically about wearing their name and telling their story of the four heroes that I mentioned before. Very clean and classic apparel lines. We have the T-shirts, vests, and shopper bags.
So, what inspired it?
Both Chanel and I have known each other for like over 10 years. We both have a passion and love for being Black, but also
You've got a passion for it. You've not got no choice.
you'd be surprised. And Black history. And Chanel had this great idea of a simple T-shirt where where it highlighted heroes of the past, and it should spark conversation. So the premise of it is you would be wearing a T-shirt such as King Mansa Musa with his birth and date, birth year and death year, and someone will literally ask you, who is that? And that's a conversation starter around history that we don't get taught. And as we started doing that, we started selling T-shirts and having discussions, we realised that there was a huge appetite for this. And so we expanded that to encompass all of Black culture, because we have great heroes of the past, but we've also got great people today that are doing amazing things. And there's a narrative around what it is to be Black and the Black culture that we want to shift.
So, in America, Black heroes are celebrated all the time, whether it be in sports, music, entertainment, education. They're all being celebrated. In the UK, it seems to be, maybe it's me, but our heroes are not celebrated in the same way. Why do you think that is?
I think Britain has a culture of celebrating traditional English celebrities, sportsmen, people who have done well, and I think they find it difficult because of obviously the narrative around
Yes.
Black culture
Yes.
to instill power and identity and pride within the Black community.
Right.
So in lifting people up, it basically dismantles the narrative that they've set.
Okay.
So you can't be celebrating and saying this person is a genius, this person is exceptional, if on the other hand you're saying that these people are of lesser value than white people, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't go hand in hand, so it's very easy for them to stick with the narrative of that, basically, we're not as great as they are, and push their own. And it's important for us basically to tell our own story and to lift our own heroes and not really worry about the fact that British people aren't celebrating us in the same way.
Okay. What are the challenges you face with I Am History?
I think one of the reasons that we're very keen to have unknown or forgotten heroes is the fact that we tend to bucket Black history in a certain time frame and a certain narrative. So within Britain, people tend to think of Black history as the Windrush generation, where actually there have been Black people within Europe and the UK long before then. So we recently did a post around the Black Tudors. So I think having a conversation that isn't around what the norm is to be Black, I think creates a great discussion because people are excited about it, but then people don't know really what to do because we're not talking about sportsmen, we're not talking about celebrities, we're talking about, you know, food for the soul, like content that really people can really get stuck into. So I think it's not necessarily a challenge, but it's a new narrative that we're trying to like create, and that's probably that's a bit harder getting people on that journey because you don't have a Beyonce, like we're not trying to cater to that, like she's great at what she does, but that's very mainstream, very popular culture, and what we're trying to do is say that we're more than just that, we're more than just whoever the latest sportsman is or whoever the latest singer is. Like we are scientists, we're historians, we're academics, we are, you know, we're all encompassing. So yeah.
Great. Black History Month normally comes around every year in the UK, and we get same old Bob Marley, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey. Yeah, I'm starting to scratch my head now.
But that is
Nelson
actually,
Mandela.
if you go onto our website, we actually do say that. Basically, every Black History Month, it's the same heroes that are regurgitated time and time again.
Like they're the only people that can be heroes.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
the problem is, so basically the way the brand was created was that I have 2 children, and they would basically coming home with the same heroes to celebrate or do a project on time and time again. And it's not to discredit what they have done, like the Martin Luther Kings or the Mary Seacole, but it's about understanding that we have a wealth of heroes to celebrate, and it's quite lazy for the educational institutions to do that, and I guess it's almost dismissive of everything that we've contributed in history. So that's why I thought actually we can be disgruntled and we can, you know, sort of try and fight the system. I mean, so many people have, you know, signed up for petitions to have it change, but we have the power within ourselves to teach and educate. And actually, what we found in launching the brand is that people outside of the diaspora, like people, you know, English people have been interested because it's also part of their history. Like the Black Tudors is part of British history. It's, you know, we've actually become involved in that through the Atlanta slave trade or through trade, you know, normal trade such as the Moors from Spain that came over to London or whatever the situation is. Like the Black Tudors being part of British history is part of English history, and so people are actually interested in that. And I think people at the moment are interested in hearing wider stories, and you know, things are changing, and I think we're positioned to really be a part of shifting that paradigm in terms of how Black people and Black culture and Black history is seen.
Both of you, do you think, from an educational perspective, in schools, whether that by a greater wealth of knowledge regarding the Black community, Black diaspora in general, would change the narrow-mindedness of some and would give a more rounded experience?
But if you take a child who's grown up in somewhere in Africa, or a child that's grown up in Jamaica or one of the islands where you know nothing else but your history, but your culture, they stand differently. Yes, there are issues about poverty and you know class. You'll find that everywhere, but the difference is there's a sense of pride. And what happens in the diaspora, and especially in Britain, is there's a lack of pride and identity because you feel lost within this society. If you know where you come from and where your roots are, then you stand taller. If you know that your people have been here for years contributing to the society and are, you know, are paramount to making it great, you stand taller. You know, it's as simple as that.
And I think for us as well, one of the reasons that the brand is clean, especially like the apparel, there's not a lot of colour, it's very just, you know, a plain black t-shirt with white writing is because we really want people to know that this is something that is an everyday look and feel. So one, it's our history, but it's also like the world's history. And I think sometimes currently when people talk about like black history, it's very much in a bubble and isolated. And every time you try to expand that, it's very to the extreme, and there's nothing wrong with it, but black power or Afrocentric, and that is not wrong, and we are not against that whatsoever. But this should be a lifetime conversation. Like,
Absolutely.
black people should be talking about it, but also non-black people should be talking about
Absolutely.
it. So like we talk about the Holocaust, and like everyone within reason, there are some people that doubt that, but everyone can agree that that was a critical moment within history, and we are all aware of that. It should be the same for black history as well.
Absolutely.
And it shouldn't just be pocket holed into these key moments such as like Nelson Mandela or Bob Marley. Again, they are great.
Or one day.
Or one day,
Or
or
one month. It should
And
be
I think-
every day.
And we're very passionate about having a new conversation of what that means to be black. Because
Yes.
we could go on about this topic for a long time, but within schools, we're in a situation where it's becoming more multicultural. You do have mixed race people, you do have black people, you do have people that are black that don't look black, you have really dark black people as well. So it's also having that conversation that we all share this magnificent history and we're all beautiful in this light that we have as well.
Fantastic. So, how do people know more about I Am History?
Well, of course, they can go to www.iamhistory.co.uk. All our handles for social media are at iamhistoryuk. And as Deborah was saying, our apparel line is very clean, very classic. You can dress it up, dress it down. You can wear it to the gym. It looks great, if you're going out with a nice skirt or jeans or whatever. Like, you can really style it very well. And it's about advocacy. We have the King Mansa Musa line, Tenka Menin, Queen Nzinga, and Yar Santawa, and they're all royals. It's within our DNA. We are all royals, so definitely go and wear their name and tell their story.
Anything else?
What she said.
Fantastic, ladies. I Am History. Thank you so much for being on BWTM Online. I think that's a wrap.